episode of Chatty Broads with Bekah and Jess.
Deep breath with me, Jess.
I'm passing out again.
Jesus Christ, you guys. We're coming to you with just bursts of energy at 5:51 p.m.
Is it early in the evening when we were recording this? Yes. But the fact of the matter is, Bekah and I both not feeling so hot with the migraines.
Dude, I really don't know what is going on. I'm like, so Jess almost
Is it
fell
Mercury
to the
retrograde?
ground.
Do you have, is it migraine season during Mercury
Does my
retrograde?
brain know it's Mercury? I mean, does my head know it's Mercury retrograde? Does my body?
Yeah, your
I guess
body
so.
knows. Yeah.
And yes.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, I am.
You Jess almost died.
I felt so bad.
Okay, tell them what happened. So I'm in the kitchen on the phone.
Okay, before we get into my dramatic story, attention broads, attention all dreamers, makers, doers. If you've got an idea to share, art to put out, or something to say, Squarespace can help. With its dynamic all-in-one platform, you can do it all. Build a website, claim a domain, sell online, even market your brand. There are tons of templates to use if you're a bit... you're struggling in the design department, like myself. And if you're already a design pro, go ahead and start from scratch.
So many amazing companies are already using Squarespace to make their mark, and you can too. It's super easy to use, but it also looks incredible. You would not know that someone didn't make this from the ground up. There's no better partner than Squarespace, so head to squarespace.com/chatty for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code chatty to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
So basically, we just finished recording an episode that hopefully you all have listened to now with Mark Wahlberg, which I love
what a gem.
him.
What a gem.
What a treasure that man is. But we just finished recording with him. I hadn't been feeling good. I had a migraine all night and I couldn't sleep. So I only slept for about 2 hours last night. Wasn't feeling good. And then it turned to like the nausea, migraine stuff, whatever. So I hadn't had a chance to tell you yet because Mark and you showed up at the same time and we hopped into recording. What I was planning on telling you was, Queen, just so you know, I'm feeling a little off my game. You just so you know, if I'm saying weird shit or if I'm silent, and so
that actually works out well that you didn't tell me that, because I was like, damn, I'm talking a lot. I feel bad. I feel like I'm commandeering the interview.
You and Mark were literally like, first of all, you were saving my life in the way that I was like, the energy is not there for me, but I was also just like fully absorbing everything that you guys were bouncing off. I was just like taking it in. And I was actually feeling in like a very meditative, deep state. I think I cried like 4 times quietly in the corner when you guys were going back and forth because I was like, this is so good and true. But yeah, so I hadn't told you that. And all of a sudden we go back into the house. Bekah's on the phone with Gray. I sit down on the couch and I just start, all of a sudden my heart starts beating really fast and I'm seeing like black spots where I'm like, the clammy hits. I'm like, I'm passing out. And the heart rate goes up super fast. And I'm like, that always scares me so much when the idea, like when you feel like you're going to pass out of nowhere, not like where there's association of like, I got my blood drawn, whatever. It's like when you're like, I'm sitting here
and I'm about to faint
and my head hurts really bad and I'm about to pass out. I'm
like, you're like, aneurysm. No, this is it.
I always I go really intense. I always go stroke, heart attack. Like that's just where my brain goes. So I literally, Bekah's in the kitchen. And this is like after.
I'll tell you what I hear. I hear this. Bekah. Like, we're like, no. Let me try it again. Bekah. You do it. You say it the way you think you said it.
I know I reached out like a child for a parent as I'm sitting there and you're around the corner. And I go, Bekah. And I'm like, and you come around the corner and you look like obviously very startled. Like, what are...
I thought someone died. I thought that Jess had just gotten a text or a call that someone was dead. I knew that Evan had just walked out the door, so I was like, it's not Evan. You know, I'm like, a family member must have just
Probably
passed.
Banana,
This is what's all going through my head. I'm just like, someone has died.
Yeah,
Someone has passed.
Nope, I was just about to go the other side myself. So
You were passing
I was
over.
just, Bekah, and then you turn the corner, and I'm like, I think I'm passing out. I think I'm passing out, and then you immediately go into mom mode. You're like, okay, lie down.
Yeah.
We're gonna get water.
Put your feet up.
Put your feet up. And what made me then, like, an hour later when I was thinking about this, I was like, oh, you're truly like family, one of my best friends for sure, because me normally will be about to pass out and will be with almost anyone in my life and just won't say it and will like quietly pass out because I get so embarrassed. So the fact that I would do that to Evan, I'd be like, Evan, and I'll tell him I'm about to pass out. I'm actually crying.
It's so sad.
It's just like, I was like, full. I was just like, help me.
Oh my God, that's so sad. Also, I was wondering when you just told that story, I was like, oh my God, I was wondering, like, did you feel anxious and feel like you had to tell me you're about to pass out so I didn't get worried if I just came in and you were on the fucking floor?
No, I was telling you. Because I was like, oh, you're in the kitchen and I'm a few feet away and I think I'm about to go down and I need you to know that if you look around the corner and I'm laying down, that I'm not taking a little nappy, that something bad has happened. That it's not good. And that because all I was thinking too, I was like, I haven't gotten the chance to tell her I'm not feeling very good. So if I pass out, we've got some problems. There's some serious issues.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, okay, she needs to know that I wasn't feeling good, that it's not like, oh, maybe she, all of a sudden like
just decided to take a nap out of
she
nowhere.
swooned and then she just, she just looking at a photo of Jason Sudeikis and just kind of just like, and just hit the deck. So
my God.
And so Bekah,
we went through that and then it was like, you're like, I'm okay. I'm not gonna pass out.
It was literally like, it was a wave.
Yeah.
And it would last for like
then
10 seconds. And it was like, oh my God, I'm like, I'm passing out. And then I was okay. And then I like settled.
Oh, that's almost worse in a weird way. Kind of like when you're about to throw up and you're like, it's about to happen. Then you're like, and it's not happening.
Well, sometimes when I have migraines, like if they're really bad and more less headache focused and more like other body, I'll get that where I start to faint when I'm like sitting up or like driving or whatever. So, but it scares me every time because it hits you out of nowhere. And I don't think I've ever technically passed out from it. So you're like, you almost think you're going to, and you're just like, oh gosh.
No, I don't like that.
No, freaks me out.
Horrible.
But then you mommed me and you said, we're not going to record the next episode right now.
For at least 2 hours.
So you tucked me in and I slept for 2 hours. I feel a little bit better. And now you have a migraine.
Yeah, I was doing my emails and I'm like,
I've passed it on to you.
All right, I'm not feeling good. But mine are definitely not that intense, at least right now. There have definitely been times where I've been like laying on the couch when I call Grace and I'm just like, you have to come home. I can't take care of our children right now. Like, I can't stand up.
The migraine is not something that I feel like people really give the credit to that it deserves. Right. They just go, bad headache. And you're like, plus, and also a bad headache is debilitating.
Yeah.
Like when you're crushing head pain, you're like, I can't even stand.
No, not to mention that with my symptoms, I used to I think I told you this. I used to always think I was getting sick because I get cold chills and I'll like shake and I get
Do you want this blankie?
I'm okay right now. But I actually might. I was freezing in your house earlier.
I was
trying to figure out the fireplace and and then I walked out in the front yard and I was like,
we don't have the
cold out here.
It stays like a little ice cube inside of our house, which is great during the summer.
Yeah,
but during the winter, it's a little cold.
Probably the spirits keeping it nice and cool for you.
Yeah, that's the dead.
Yeah, that is the dead keeping it chill. So yeah, I used to always think I was getting sick, and so when I was getting a lot of them, my boyfriend at the time, I'd be like, "Take me to get chicken soup at the Mexican restaurant and a shot of tequila. That will kill it. That will."
Make it die.
Yeah. And then I'd be like, I'd always like pass out in his car on the way home. In fact, he has this photo of me like passed out with a rolled up tortilla with a bite out of it on my chest.
No.
And I'm just like passed out with it, fully reclined with the tortilla on my chest. And then I would, wake up an hour or two later and be like, I feel way better. I don't think I'm actually getting sick. And then finally I realized like that's a migraine, sweetie.
Yeah.
You dumbass. You're not getting the flu every
like,
2 weeks.
Yeah, and then you're like
beating it by
oh my God, what is this light? And you're like, you can't even be in the light.
Yeah, and then I'd be like, my tequila and soup healed me. I have evaded the flu once again. And then, like, no.
Every month you've conquered it.
Yeah, exactly. So
oh no, it really is. It doesn't get the credit it deserves. I feel like back when I, was a 9-to-5 working woman, that sometimes I used to, now I don't get a migraine often at all. I used to get them a lot. Now I typically only get a migraine when I, like, around my period.
Yeah, me too.
Which I'm not, so cool.
Could be the 2 ounces of water you've had in the last week.
That could definitely be part of it. I have been chugging water the past couple days as
tell
the
that
coffee
story?
sits next to me. Don't worry, it's tea with a little bit of milk.
Will you tell everyone that story again that you told on the Instagram?
Yeah, so I told it on the Instagrams. I took a little staycation and I just got back.
Everything.
I just got back today. It was 3 days and I stayed at one of my favorite spots in Los Angeles. The day before, Evan and I had spent time together for his birthday. And then I was like, happy birthday. Now you're going to watch Ember and I'm going to go away for 3 days.
Yeah, nice.
But we both were like, the both of us, we had a great day together, a great night. But the whole day we were like jacked. We were like, yeah. And like so hyper. And finally we were about to get in bed that night. And I'm like, my heart has been just like pounding all day, like pulsating all day. And he's like, mine too. He's like, I'm freaking out.
I'm in fight or flight mode all day.
We were both like panicking. And then we're like, okay, it's fine. We're just going to get some sleep. We go to bed, wake up the next morning. And we both like, have breakfast. And then we look at each other again a few hours later and we're like, I still am feeling like I'm about to pass from the amount of like the heart palpitations and like, whatever. And then we're driving and I'm just like, I'm dizzy. My heart is pounding. I'm like, am I having like massive anxiety attacks right now? I'm like, I don't feel like I am, but this feeling's making me feel like I am. And then Evan's like, oh, and he's driving. He's like, I don't feel good either. And then all of a sudden I look at him, I'm like, how many days has it been since you had water?
Not even how much water have you drank today? Which is what I asked Grayson. How much water have you drank today? 20 ounces, not great, buddy. How many days has it been since you drank water?
How many days has it been since you had your last sip from the well? I was, when I say this to him, he's like, oh my God, it's been like 4 or 5. And I'm like, oh my God, I think it's been like a week for me. And then we put 2 and 2 together.
Your body is in there just being like, how do I extract the water from this coffee?
I just picture the little alien from Men in Black just being like, 1 drop, please.
Oh, not that.
Not the coffee drop. Not the vodka drop. He sees the vodka, the clear liquid. He's just like, oh God, it's more dehydrating than before. So I'm just like, so we pull over quick to a gas station because we're both like seeing stars and like pale and like jacked
like,
up.
Get me 30 ounces of smart water.
These huge jugs. Yeah, and we just both are just chugging. And also he was like almost a little paranoid, like we were driving. He's like, I think that guy just pointed at me. And I'm like, what? I mean, we were both just, it was an intense level.
What I love about this conversation is the context that I have.
Yeah, the different worlds that we live in.
No. The context that I have is the recent debates I've had with Evan. Let me tell you guys the debate.
You mean The thing about Evan is that Evan decides he thinks something is true.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I do the same thing all the time.
Why it's then funny to hear you two disagree.
I do the same thing. And by the way, I take his concepts extremely seriously. I just sometimes think they're very wrong. And I have my own theories.
Okay, bros, before we get into my husband's wildly unfounded and unscientific water theory, I am so happy with myself lately because I have been killing it in the kitchen. Evan actually has been too. We've been making more delicious meals in the last few weeks than we ever have. It's incredible. And I can't take all the credit. I really can't take any of the credit because I've had some help, a lot of help, thanks to HelloFresh.
With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonable recipes delivered right to your doorstep. You can skip the trips to the grocery store. You can cut back on dirty dishes. You can spend way less time cooking and way more time enjoying the food with the ones you love. Each week, you get to choose from 50 different menu and market options. And really, that is the hardest part of this all, choosing exactly what you want, because every option is amazing. My last box had miso sesame shrimp, crispy Parmesan chicken, and my new favorite, salsa verde enchiladas. And sometimes I even save the little paper with the recipe on it so that I can make it again on my own, because they're awesome.
Oh my God, the enchiladas are so good. I always thought cooking these amazing meals would be costly, but because HelloFresh gives you just enough of whatever you need so you don't have to buy tons of new ingredients, customers save an average of $64 a month when they use HelloFresh instead of grocery shopping. One of the best parts about using HelloFresh is that it's the perfect way to get the whole family involved in dinner. No prep means little ones can get in on the action and help make the meal or even take over for a night. And in just a matter of minutes, dinner is served.
Go to HelloFresh.com/chatty16 and use code chatty16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. That's HelloFresh.com/chatty16 with code chatty16 to get up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts.
So as I get older, I am not ashamed to say that I'm a bit of a homebody. I love cozying up in my own space with a warm blanket, a candle burning, some soft PJs on, and when you want to elevate your space and make it extra cozy, there's only one place to look, and that's Jenni Kayne. From timeless furniture to elevated accent pieces, Jenni Kayne is the one-stop shop to create the space of your dreams. Jenni Kayne has something for every room and every style.
But really, Jenni Kayne has nailed the effortless California aesthetic. Think breezy textured linens, natural woods, sun-dyed leathers, and simplistic luxury. If you're looking for something big, Jenni Kayne's furniture pieces are the ultimate conversation piece and can transform any room. And if you're looking for something small, their candles, throws, and tabletop pieces add the perfect amount of luxury to every corner of your space. I got a cashmere throw from Jenni Kayne almost 2 years ago. It is one of my most loved items in my house. If I'm home, there's a 100% chance that throw is on me. It is pure luxury, and it makes a fantastic gift for other people too. I would rather purchase everything from Jenni Kayne just for myself, but I'll be less stingy and I'll get some gifts for others as well. Get the space you'll never want to leave at JenniKayne.com. Get 15% off your first order when you use code CHATTY at checkout. That's 15% off your first order at JenniKayne.com, promo code CHATTY.
Well, yeah, he is serious a lot of the time. Sometimes he's just trying to get a reaction.
Yeah, sure. The water thing, okay, he does have a point. Let me tell you guys his theory, which he does sort of have a point
about. He might have a point.
I'll tell you why he does have a
Take
point.
this with a grain of salt, though, because I was about to pass. Okay?
Let's listen to our science major, our Harvard grad, Evan, who graduated, Harvard master's in biology, PhD. Okay, so he said, what was his theory he told me? He said, I think that we don't really need that much water. What did you say?
That was essentially that. He was basically like, I think that people are encouraged to drink water. He's like, we don't need that much water. I don't know if he said something about ancient days that was absolute bullshit.
No, I brought up the ancient thing. I was like, well, now that our water is like so processed, if you're getting like well water from the ground, it has like a lot of minerals that can help you stay more hydrated.
Right. I think he said something though, like the people in ancient days didn't drink a lot of water. And I'm like, do you know that for a fact?
They died at 32, Evan. Like, you would have been a goner.
Like, also, honey, you would have been in the ground.
You literally would have been giving
34
Ember your
now.
last will and testament like last week.
I would have been looking at you right now and have been like, oh my God, you're so old. Like, I mean,
Like every other child died of dysentery. Yeah, the
so-
water situation wasn't great.
It wasn't great. It was bacteria riddled, okay? It wasn't maybe lots of it.
But his other concept was sort of like, okay, if you acclimate your body to drinking more water, you'll be more thirsty and you'll need more water to function, which is kind of true. Because like I told him, there was this guy that we met when I was growing up who had like a horse ranch, and my dad was going to buy a horse from him. And this guy only drank Diet Coke. No, Diet Pepsi. Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi. It's an important distinction, but I think it was a...
Is it Diet Pepsi because that's what my dad used to drink?
Right, it feels like Diet Pepsi.
Diet
It feels like
Pepsi
this
feels-
cowboy's going to be drinking Diet Pepsi,
it's very,
right?
It's very cowboy to have that like very like crispy, misty looking Diet Pepsi can.
But the
with,
Coke
like,
is
the hat.
classic.
Yeah, true. If
Too
it
on
was-
the nose.
If it wasn't a glass bottle, it was probably Diet Pepsi.
Yeah, I think
In the
it was-
glass bottle, it was Coke, Diet Coke.
Or it might have been like, oh shit, Diet, like Dr. Pepper, you know, something really niche like that.
Yeah, that's my
But
thing.
anyway, you like Diet Dr. Pepper?
Oh, it's the best.
I don't really like
So
diet
crispy.
sodas, but at one of my friend's house where we always used to smoke weed there because his mom didn't care, she drank a lot of Diet Pepsi. So we'd get cotton mouth and we'd be hungry, and I'd just be like, I'd open the fridge and I'd be like, a Diet Pepsi? And I'd be like, fuck it. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And I kind of got into them for a minute there.
I told you my dad, he used to drink like 17 Diet Pepsis a day and like no water. And his ritual every single night is he'd come down from bed fully like asleep at like 1 a.m. I'd be sitting on the counter like talking with Evan or a friend of mine. He'd come down half asleep, like grumpy in his little boxers and shirt. And he'd open the refrigerator, stand there and chug a Diet Pepsi and then go back to bed. And then he'd wake up in the morning and he'd have Diet Pepsi with like his Rice Krispie treats for breakfast. So this is the culture I'm coming
This
from.
is another thing Evan and I talked about, that there are types of people that are cockroaches.
Yes.
Your father, but judging by that, to me, is a cockroach.
Yeah, I think we're a little bit of a cockroach
Does
family.
he have any immune, disorders at this point from all the
aspartame? No.
Yeah, aspartame poisoning.
So far, he's very healthy. And
I would have had kidney failure 3 years ago.
for sure. I don't think I'm a cockroach though, and I think my body's
think
letting
either of us are
I think my
cockroaches.
body's letting me know.
Jessica
that I-
Lanyadoo told us as much.
That's true. My body, my brain says you were raised in a cockroach family, like they can never die.
Yeah.
And so you are the same way. And then my body goes, no, you're more sensitive than that.
I'll tell you what you can do, though. We talked about this last week. You can rally for a night, too. If you're out a weekend away and you drink the first night, you can do it a second night. And that, I have to say, that's a hats off to you, my friend.
Thank you. Yes, I can live on 2 hours of sleep.
That's pretty good. You saw it on The Bachelor. I just start crying about everything.
Maybe I would actually be okay on reality TV.
You might.
In that way, if they kept me up. I'd be like, everyone's like sobbing around me. I'm like, this is
You got,
great.
like, an
I've never felt
espresso
more
martini.
rested.
Hey, guys.
It's just,
Until they have to call the medics because you
I haven't drank water.
Exactly. You're like, I honestly didn't know there was water in the house for me to drink.
The producers
Okay.
are like, so she's been great. Quick question though, has anyone seen her drink any water? Just checking up, wellness check. Any water?
The nurse is like, I can't draw her blood. There's no veins. Have you ever gone and they're like, honey, I can't find your vein. You need to drink like 3 ounces of water and come back.
Here's my problem that then I can't.
Yeah.
I don't realize that I'm not full of water is that I have wild veins that are always protruding.
Really?
So they're always, as soon as I show them my arm, they get like so horny. They're like, oh my God, look at that
Let
vein.
me dig into those.
I've never had a problem. Yeah, except I can't look at it because it makes me nauseous.
And pass out.
No, I can't look at my vein.
You're on vein right now. Like if you like,
No, can't do it. Especially
What
right now,
the
very sensitive.
hell.
Because I think about what's happening inside of there and I'm like, nope, not for me.
You don't. I don't want to make you pass out here. So tell me to cut me off. You don't wish you could like go. You don't. If I had the option right now without hurting myself to like peel back every piece of skin and look at every organ, I wish I could. I wish I could.
That's going to be a hard pass for me.
I wish I could do surgery on myself and see everything.
Do you do surgery on yourself? Like when you have like
I live for it. Like if I have a deep splinter or something and I have to like dig it out and perform surgery, I love it.
This is what Evan does, the exact same thing.
Yeah.
He loves to perform surgery.
Yeah.
I could never in a million years, if my life depended on it, couldn't do it. I'd be like, I guess I'm dying. Like I couldn't. Bekah, I can't take a splinter out. I'll hit the deck.
Oh my God.
Evan will have to do
Why
it or
do you
whoever.
think this is? Like, what's the psychological thing behind it?
I don't know. I heard once that it's obviously a phobia.
Sure.
But also I've heard.
I always think that comes from like ancestor, something that's like where my brain goes.
Clearly my family was not vampires. But I think a lot of it is, we're not surgeons. That's for sure. I think a lot of it is that I hold my breath a lot. And then I get lightheaded.
Well, why do you hold your breath when you think
When
about
I tense up, I tense up my whole body and I hold my breath.
Well, that's what I'm curious about though. Is that reaction to like...
I think it's because it's a phobia. So then it's phobia, I'm scared, I tense up, I hold my breath. There's no oxygen going to my brain.
I'm asking a question that you can't answer for me, which is where do those phobias come from? Because like, okay,
trauma.
So like vomit phobia makes sense because like if you vomited a bunch as a kid, that makes sense.
Sure.
But even like people who are terrified of snakes, for instance, or like terrified of, did you have a lot of blood loss or anything like that? Did you witness anything like that?
God, I don't remember, but maybe.
Maybe you blocked it out. Who knows?
I don't think so.
But even just like that, like I have a friend who is legitimately like has a phobia of spiders. Like if you put her close to a spider, like she would literally like fight or stab her way out to get away.
Right. Isn't that so interesting?
That's why I say like it must be some weird. It has to be something
because I'm like, I'll hold a spider or like a snake.
Yeah.
I'll be like cute. Like or even like vomiting. I don't have a phobia of vomiting at all. And I know that's a big one for you.
Yeah. You know what? I am not that scared anymore because of like hangovers, but what I am scared of now is like the anticipation of vomiting.
It's a horrible feeling.
And I'm scared of being in a public place, and I'm really embarrassed to have to tell someone that I'm with, like, I might, like what you're saying. I feel the same way. I couldn't bear to tell a stranger or a date like
that you're about to pass out.
No, throw up.
What about pass out? What if you were in a public place?
I've never been in that situation.
Okay.
But I imagine if I was feeling a bodily sensation, I wouldn't want to tell anyone either.
Your brain's like, I can handle it.
Yeah, and you're also like, if I say something, then it'll be real and it'll happen. And like, I don't want this person to think I'm weird. Because then what if I don't pass out? Like exactly what happened today?
Bekah.
I always think like the worst one that makes me anxious is being on like a date, like someone for the first time,
gosh.
and to be like, Gray, I think I'm gonna pass out. And they're like, what the? And then you're like, no, I'm not.
Do you know my mom actually, great sign for the rest of their marriage. My mom actually threw up in my dad's car on like his brand new car on one of their first dates inside the car. Like in like the side where you can like. Yeah, so he'd like,
oh my God, no.
And my mom does not drink. My mom has never been like a big drinker or anything. But they like went out and she, had a couple and it just must have bugged her stomach. And they were driving and she just everywhere.
Who the hell? I was talking to someone the other day. Were you? I don't think you were with me. I was talking to someone the other day who was talking about how they went on this date. And they didn't want to cancel on this date, but they were sick. They had this stomach flu. And so
I would be so pissed if I was that person. I'm like, don't fucking give me the stomach flu.
How dare you leave your home when you have the stomach flu?
How dare you? Never leave your home if you have the stomach flu. For the love of God.
Don't give that to other people. Oh my God. Worst. Okay, hold on. I've got so many stories going at the same time. So this person is telling me that in between the conversation, they were going to the bathroom to throw up and were coming back. Who the hell was I talking to? I don't remember.
That's actually really upsetting. And
why would you do that to yourself?
Why would you do that to yourself or the other person? Like, what if that person goes in for a kiss? What are you going to say? You know what's going to happen? I'll tell you exactly.
She's going to kiss him.
She's going to kiss him. Because she's not going to say no.
At that point.
You've been vomiting. And not only is that gross.
They were having beer. This person was drinking a beer and then going to the bathroom to vomit.
No.
Who was this? Who was the psychopath I was talking to?
You're puking. And then you're going to kiss the person And that makes me feel ill.
That's psychopathic behavior.
Well, and to me, it's like, you know what? If I throw up and Evan leans in for a kiss because he's like, oh, my poor sweetie, and we kiss.
Yeah, a peck, yeah.
Oh, okay. I would be like, please no, I don't want to do that to you.
Yeah.
But like if there was consent involved,
sure.
A throw up kiss needs consent.
They need to know that
you need to be like, are you okay
disclosure.
with the fact that I was just puking that we're about to kiss? But then you're also going to give this person the stomach flu immediately if you start kissing them.
I couldn't believe that they were sipping their beer and then throwing up.
This person should be arrested.
Yeah, this is like super spreader.
Where are you? And what have you spread? What else have you spread?
I kind of felt similar. I was at a friend's house a few weeks ago, a little mom group hang with little kids, and Ruth is sitting there and she goes, "Mom, I feel like I have to throw up," and she's 2, so I'm kind of like, yeah, and I'm kind of like just watching her, and then she kind of seems normal, and then all of a sudden she, starts doing that.
Oh God!
And you should have seen me. I literally jumped. Like, I picked her up and, jumped and sprinted to the bathroom. We made it to the toilet. But this is at another person's house with all of these kid friends, and Ruth is just puking. Oh, no. So we have to go home. This is, 3 hours into the mom hang.
Oh, no. So you're like, hey, everybody.
I felt horrible.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you wouldn't have known.
I know. She was throwing up the whole way home, threw up half the night. Then Frank threw up that night too, but just once. And then he was fine. It was so weird.
But then when he throws up, then you're like, oh, this isn't just like food poisoning.
Yeah, exactly. And the stomach flu. Once you make it past the 3rd night, you're okay.
Yeah.
I made it. I survived.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't get taken down. You're like, no.
I made it, but I felt so bad. No one got it though, but still,
phew.
I felt horrible.
Yeah, the stomach flu is a big no-go for me. I'm like, please stay far away from me. Anyone.
I used to walk around the house with a bandana around my face when anyone in my house would have the stomach flu because I was so scared as a kid. I would just be like,
no, it's like, stay away.
Death room.
Yeah, and I feel like they're always like, it's probably just food poisoning. I'm like, no, it's not. You're contagious.
Liar! Handshaking.
You're contagious.
So bringing back around the guy that was a horse guy,
yes.
He said that he said, he was like, one time I drank some water and I threw up for 3 days. And so he's basically like, I don't touch that stuff no more. That's essentially what he said, and I will never forget that. I will never forget that.
That lives rent free.
So basically, according to Evan's theory, this man actually had developed an intolerance, in fact, to water.
He was allergic
was
to
like,
it.
What is this?
Yeah, it's like
spit it from my mouth.
Only Diet Pepsi can provide you any sort of hydration.
Like, that is so wild.
Yeah, I often wonder how I stay hydrated at all.
Yeah, your skin's glowing,
Thank you. That has to be Botox because...
Okay, wait, we gotta talk about the Botox too because I got this shit to share.
But I don't know how I stay hydrated because I'll go, you know what it is? I'll go through phases. I'll all of a sudden be really, really good for like a couple weeks. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? I gotta be intentional about it. And I'll drink a lot and I'll be really thirsty. Yeah. You know what I'm like? I'm like a goddamn camel.
Yeah, you're like a camel.
I'm like a camel because I'll have a week where I am insatiably thirsty.
Yeah.
I chug water all day long, all through the night.
Yeah.
Like it's nonstop.
Yeah.
And I don't touch any other beverage. Like nothing sounds good. And I think I store it up until I run dry.
Yeah, that's totally it. That's definitely how it works. You don't pee out any of it. You store it. Yeah, you probably walk on grass in the morning and your body's like, soak up the dew from the soles of your feet. Gather.
When I walk
in the shower.
When I walk into a fog, it's just like any mist.
Your body's like, pores open, do your job. Who knows when we might see this again. This is why you don't need to drink water. Because like you said, you're good at sitting in it. Your body is just actually starting to osmosis through your skin.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised because, and this is going to be really annoying, but this is just the truth of the matter.
Oh, great. Here we go, frog woman. Say it. Speak your truth.
I never have chapped lips or need lotion.
Because you're a greasy
I'm
bitch.
always moist. So it's like I have some friends who've known me for forever who used to get so irritated because they would like chug water and they
Dude, that's me as hell.
and they'd be dry or like they'd always have chapped lips and they'd always be like how do you stay? And I'm just like, I don't know, I just don't drink water.
Where are your people from?
I mean,
You're Swiss.
we're Swedes.
You guys got lots of water there.
We're Swiss. And so I am weirdly like I'm just like broken into quarters.
Yeah.
I'm Swiss, French. It's not quarters, actually. It's a mostly Swiss, and then the remainder is.
I mean, it's not a neat 25, 25,
no,
25,
but
25.
But it's almost like the Swiss is like 50.
Because your grandparents are like they're like all like 100% what they are, basically.
Yeah, but then my grandfather's Swiss French.
Oh.
So then I have French and then Irish and Italian. But the Italian sliver is little, but I really hold on to it because it makes me very like feel connected.
You're sexy.
Yeah, it's also like I forget about the actual Italy portion and I think more about the it's a fucking pizza.
Right,
I'm like, maybe that's why I'm
you're an
attracted to those type of people is because I got a little bit of Italian.
You're like, I'm Italian, that's why I like pizza so much and like pasta.
My dad's
like my culture.
My dad's like, you're fucking 4% bitch, okay? So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think I am a frog woman.
Yeah, I could drink 200 ounces a day and it'd just be peeling off of me. So Botox, this is what I need to talk about.
Yeah,
okay,
tell
first of
me
all,
about the Botox.
I don't know if I think it's because my hair's pulled back, but like my forehead, it feels so tight right now and shiny.
In like a great way because I love it.
I mean, I don't look bad, don't get me wrong, but I did get a little, okay, so guys, I was like, I don't know about the Botox. I went back.
You know why? Because you always go back.
You know what? The idea, it's like dyeing your hair. Mm-hmm. That's how in my head it is for me. That's how I get the same feeling. Mm-hmm. I used to do this all the fucking time with my hair where I'd be like, looking in the mirror, I'd be like, you boring bitch. And you're like, let's cut it off, or like, let's dye it blue or something. I don't really want to do that anymore because I want to grow my hair out to be long and healthy and luscious. But then I look at my face and I'm like, then what if I'm moving my face in the video camera? I'm like, a little of this, and I start Googling where in your face can get Botox and what can it do?
You're like, where are my possibilities?
Yeah, what can I do here?
You can really do a lot with it.
You can do a lot. So I went and I decided to get, I had her do half the amount of the 11s, the in between the brow part.
Yeah.
Still can't really frown. So I want a little bit. Maybe I just won't get that done next time.
Well, you had taken the process and injected it already. And even though it was wearing off,
it's still there.
It's
so it kicks back in faster.
Botox is, yes. And it's like super, it's very preventative, right? So it's like when it continues to go in, like I noticed for myself, once I started getting Botox, the faster it shows up. The first time I would get it, it was like, it really took 2 weeks to see. And now I'm not joking.
Day 2.
Literally. Yeah. I'm like, oh, we're good. It's frozen.
Okay.
And it's real heavy on day 2.
Really?
Like the eyes, where it's just like, oh God, I can't lift them at all.
So my head's feeling a little shiny, but so I got the brow lift and I got a little bit up top. I also she said she did just a drop on the what are these things called?
Little crow's feet.
Crow's feet. See, just slight crow's feet. That might take 2 weeks to kick in. I'm only on week 1. 9 days.
It looks like you have movement, but they are disappearing.
So there's that, and then this is where it gets dicey.
Yeah, you took a risk.
All right,
you did take a risk,
guys. So this is what I got done. First of all, I got this thing called the Smile Lift, where they inject it right here. So the idea is that you will have less of a resting bitch face because the corners of your mouth will not be pulled down by these muscles. So that's the idea.
I'm going to let you know that I am royally pissed that none of my injectors have suggested this to me because I always tell them, I'm like, I want to do something here. And they're always like, you don't want to put filler there. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, I won't put filler there. But they've never offered me Botox. And now I'm going to yell at them the next time I see them.
Yeah, tell them, you're fired. Give it to me now. Yeah, but here's the thing. I have not noticed it lift, but here's what I did notice. Day 2, I was so fucking sore right here. And also, well, I still can frown a little. I think by next week it'll be gone. Can't frown, which is a weird thing, but no benefits to it, right? That's a weird thing. It's not like I'm frowning a ton, but I can't do anything there.
Your lip like quivers when you try.
I'm like, trying so hard. My muscles are like, like harder, you guys. No, I can't. And normally I can do my mouth in a perfect upside down U.
Oh yeah, we can both do that.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I can't do that anymore. So that one's iffy. It doesn't do anything. Waste of my time, waste of my money. Won't be doing it again. Now the next one. Not exactly a waste of my time or money, but let me tell you something. You said you got it before. I got the lip flip. So they just inject a little bit at the top of your lip. So what it does is it relaxes your lip muscle. So that like normally you'd be flexing this muscle and your lip will look smaller when the muscle's flexed, right? Mm-hmm. So the idea is that if you relax it, see like if I smile, like my lip doesn't get, it's extremely subtle, but the idea is it's supposed to make your lip look slightly bigger. It can also get rid of a gummy smile. I know everything about Botox now. Just DM me. I'll consult you. Don't worry, guys. I am the RN now. I will be injecting you from my home. Dr. Martinez is in the office. So, but okay. Tell me, did you have any unique experience when you got it?
I didn't care for it. I didn't like the way that it made.
I can't rub my lips together.
Yeah, that's weird.
I have to strain so hard, and I think it's also because I can't move this. So
yeah, no, I couldn't rub them, and I didn't get the frowny things. It's because it goes up now. It's relaxed, so you can't.
I can't rub my lips together. You know what that also means? What's particularly weird is when I'm eating, you don't realize how much you like.
You're just like spilling food out.
Yeah, look, because I can't bring it down to like subtly like lick my lip to like, you know, it's gross, but you realize you do that while you're eating. You like subtly lick your lip. If I'm gonna lick my lip, I have to go stretch my tongue out like a, you know, like
that is aggressive.
That's disgusting. So no, I'm constantly wiping my lip when eating, and also I feel like it's impairing my speech slightly, not noticeably, but to me, I am only hitting the very bottom of my lip, which is not normal.
You know what's really funny is that when you're saying that, it's now actually all coming back. When I had the lip flip done, we had been doing the podcast for about 3 months,
really?
I think. And I got it done and I felt like it changed my speech.
Yes.
And I was like super self-conscious about it.
I feel like everyone can notice. I don't think anyone can.
I never would notice. I hear no difference. But like it's the way it feels where you're like, oh, this feels and sounds different like in my head.
And even like drinking out of certain straws is kind of difficult.
Oh, it's hard. Yeah, the straws.
It's very bizarre. It's very bizarre.
But there's, you're able to do all those things if you get filler. That's why I didn't do the lip flip again and I just got filler. I got a lip flip before I ever got filler because I was like, I'll try this first.
Yeah. I think I might get it again though.
It's an actual nightmare. I can barely close my mouth. I can't drink out of straws. Everything's comes falling out. I have to do a snake ton, but I think I'm going to try it again.
Yeah. Well, I do. It is kind of subtle and I do like it. It looks
pretty.
And then, Gray's mom, this is where it was the kicker. So go inject me back up in 2.5 months. I'll be there at Ava MD in 12 weeks. Mark my words. Gray's mom goes, did you get your lips done? And I was like, that is my compliment of the week. She was like, your upper lip looks bigger. And I was like,
yeah, it looks full right now. It definitely, your lip flip made your lips look bigger. My lip flip did not do that.
That's what my injector said. She goes, it'll either make a difference or it'll make no difference.
Mine made no difference. It just made it more difficult to
operate.
And so I was like, cool. I mean, there was no benefit. And then when I would smile, it just like bugged me.
Here's the thing that I do like. Whenever I used to do photos, back when I was a model, no, just kidding. Back when I would just do like photo shoots for fun and stuff, people would always be like, oh, relax your lip. I actually used to have people say that a lot, like relax your lip, because I do this kind of like, I don't know, I would like purse my upper lip slightly.
And now you can't
move it
I
at don't
all.
do it. And we did do a photo shoot the other day and I was like,
and you were like, this is everything.
I am moment.
We are Botox.
I can't really say moment, but I am it.
Like, it's hard for me to say it, but I damn it.
So anyway, that's my update. That's
Love a
all.
Botox update. Love a Botox update. I was going to tell you.
Yeah.
I had to tell you this.
Yeah.
I went and got a massage recently, like a week ago, and I would like to know what you would have done in this situation.
Oh, I can't wait. You know what I love about this? I've been watching David Sedaris's like book writing, or like how to write comedy. And he's like, be present in every moment. Don't sit on your phone, because there are moments and interactions that are once in a lifetime happening all the time that you have to be present for, because you can write about it. And I feel that way with the podcast, where like we can talk about it. It's something interesting to talk about. I feel
like because we're talking about what's been going on, I have been very aware of the moment.
Yes.
I'm very like living in.
You're trying to mine.
No, I'm literally, I'm like, oh, this conversation, like I'm having this conversation with this random person in the elevator. I'm like, interesting. Like that's now I'm kind of thinking about this, and like I'm feeling very like soaked into that.
It's pretty fun.
It. It's I feel very like present.
Yeah. It's also a good perspective, because like what he talks about, he's like, if something terrible happens, and I just think like at the dentist, he's like, oh, I'll write about it.
Yeah,
like he uses that example.
You're just like it's going to be art. So even, if it results in pain, like, oh, well, even if they have to rip another tooth out of my mouth, well, at least I can talk about it.
Oh, let's pray that doesn't happen. Okay, massage story.
Okay, Broads, before I get into my massage story, there are a few things Southern California is known for. Beautiful beaches, avocados on everything, and 300 days of sunshine a year. And with 300 days of sunshine, there's some pretty good sunglasses coming out of Southern California, but there's one big standout, straight from San Diego, the only brand I'll ever wear again, Blenders. It doesn't get more Californian than Blenders, because they were created quite literally on the beach in San Diego by a surf instructor.
Okay, here's the thing. I am notorious for losing, dropping, or sitting on my sunglasses, or my kids sitting on my sunglasses. It's a problem. That's why I love Blenders. They're so much more affordable than most sunglass brands, which can cost literally hundreds of dollars per pair. This means when I inevitably lose, drop, or sit on them, it doesn't hurt me or my wallet as much. From orange polarized wraparounds to tortoiseshell frames to colored lenses, there are so many trendy pairs to choose from at Blenders, and more are being added to the site all the time.
And of course, not every state has sunshine all year long, but don't worry, Blenders has you covered too. They've got prescription glasses, readers, a snow collection with goggles for skiing and snowboarding, and my personal favorite, blue light glasses, which I wear all the time because I'm on the computer nonstop or my phone. They really make looking at screens so much more comfortable. I'm obsessed with them, and they're so cute too.
To score 15% off your Blenders purchase, visit blenderseyewear.com and enter promo code ChattyVIP. That's blenderseyewear.com, code ChattyVIP for 15% off. Blenders, rocked with pride worldwide.
Broads, you would think that since we are professional podcasters, wow, that will never stop feeling so good to say and unreal. But yes, it's true. We are professional podcasters by profession. You would think the last thing we would want to do in our spare time is listen to podcasts. But on the contrary, we love listening to other podcasts, like literally all the time. And I have a few new favorites that I've been just dying to share. And one of them is Life is Short with Justin Long.
Okay, I love everything that Wondery comes out with. This podcast is so good, you guys. My dad and I, by the way, we both listen to like every single Wondery show that they release, and then we talk about it after. But this show, Justin just has a way of interviewing people. It's really entertaining, but it also produces really solid, thoughtful content. And I haven't listened to an episode yet that I didn't enjoy, because each week Justin chats with celebrities, actors, musicians, artists, and more, and he gets their advice on life's important questions, like how do we bring meaning to our life's work, which I've found personally very inspiring. What should we do to make the most out of our time? And of course, the really hard-hitting questions like what's the best emoji to use when you're texting?
Justin's recent guests include people like Rob Riggle from The Daily Show, singer Amy Mann, and on the most recent episode, his guest actor was Billy Zane. Listen, if you grew up obsessed with the Titanic like I did, I am happy to report Billy isn't a villain in real life, okay? The episode was so much fun to listen to. As I'm sure you can imagine, he has lots of good stories and secrets to tell about his time as an actor. Life is Short is actually my new Getting Ready podcast. I love a good getting ready podcast. I just hit play in the morning and it always starts my day off right.
Listen to Life is Short with Justin Long on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or you can listen ad-free by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app.
This is something, and this is hand to God. This hand to God,
I believe you,
was exactly what happened. I'm not taking
no embellishments.
I'm not taking any artistic liberties in explaining this story and like making it a little more embellished.
You swear?
I swear on my life.
Okay, I can't.
Because sometimes you're like, oh, he was like practically like, 7'9". He was so tall, and you're like, he was like 6'4", but he was a tall guy.
Sure. Okay.
No, there is nothing in this.
Okay.
So I haven't gotten a massage in forever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, my back's really been bugging me. I'm going to go. I got a gift card from my parents from Christmas. So I show up at the day spa, and they ask, they're like, do you have a preference with massage therapist, like a man or a woman? I'm like, I don't care. And so I'm sitting there, and the attendant comes up, and they're like, Christopher, your therapist will be with you in just a moment. What I thought was maybe someone who, I don't know where I thought this person worked in the spa, but definitely not a therapist, came walking out like this.
I'm describing
Like,
hunched over, shaking about 3 inches at a time. So this is a 98-year-old.
this man had to have been 80.
Oh my, is he all right?
Well, let me talk to you about this, okay? I have a few thoughts. And I was really, I felt a lot of different things. Number one, the second he like walked over, I was like, seriously? Like, I need someone to like really get in. Like, my back really hurts.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you ageist scum. You disgusting ageist scum. Look at this man. He's like out here working.
Yeah.
And just,
Is this a chain place? Is this like Massage Envy?
It's not Massage Envy. It's a nice spot.
Okay. This man is free to work as he so chooses, we think.
I mean, I don't know his financial situation, but you're making decent money at this
I mean,
spot.
like no one's making him work.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
no, trust me. He loved what he did. It was beautiful.
Okay.
So, but it was a combo situation. So I'm like, what I wasn't planning on doing was going to get a massage and really battling like some of my inner demons, where I'm like, why is this your reaction?
Yeah.
Like, you're acting like one of those kids that talk to you on TikTok that are like, you're old, get off TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm only 33.
You're old, get out of Massage Envy. You shouldn't work here.
I'm like, this man, he's a massage therapist. Like, this is what he does. But he was very old. He was very little shaky kins, but so lovely, right? So he's just like, this way, Miss Ambrose, and like was just so lovely and asking me all the questions. This man got me set up. And let me tell you, did I get the deep tissue massage that I needed? Not necessarily, but this man was incredible. All the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
Like, that I didn't pay for.
Magic hands.
And also, like, I didn't pay for, at this spot, it's like, if you want hot stones,
right,
aromatherapy oils, hot pads, you're adding all this extra cash on
$70.
Yeah, it's insane. He did it all. Having me breathe in like essential oils, and he was just so like lovely and kind. And I was like, you know what? I'm not getting like the intense and at first when he was a little shaky, I was a little bit like, are you okay? Like, I felt like a little bad. And then I'm like, Jessica, and he was like, I've done this for so many years. I love it. And he's like, his passion is doing massage therapy work.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is so beautiful. Like, the passion of this person. We've talked about this recently.
Yeah.
Where like, when you find something you love, and now he's older and maybe he doesn't even need to, but he likes doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about all these things. And these are all still very true when I say what I'm about to say. But then all of a sudden, in the middle of the massage, we're like 70% in, I feel him rubbing, and like he's rubbing, and all of a sudden the pressure kind of starts, like, it goes from like pressure to like weighing
he's
down,
falling on you.
like falling
Yeah.
on me and like a heavy
Yeah.
weight on my body. And I'm like, and he's not moving, but it's not like he didn't like collapse
Yeah,
on me.
yeah.
I feel his like,
Right, but you're
he
like, what's
fully
happening?
relaxes.
Yeah.
And then he was close up like on my upper back. And I just, I feel the full relaxed pressure. And then all of a sudden I just hear,
I am awestruck right now. Are you telling me that this man fell asleep while massaging you?
he fell asleep.
Standing up.
Sitting up. I mean, he was, he's leaning, so he's got a little bit of an angle, and he's just, I mean, he's an old man, and Lord knows how long he's been working that day. It was later in the day.
I mean, I remember when my great grandma used to fall asleep on the toilet all the time.
That's what I'm saying,
But
he's used to being like, if this is his passion, he's on his feet all day, like, and now he just figures out how to fall asleep. And so I feel this way, and I hear this very, very, the sweetest little snoring I've ever heard. And so then I'm like, this is my predicament.
oh, I would have been panicking. You're like,
Do I?
oh my God.
I'm like, do I say something or do I let him sleep? Like, I'm like, obviously he needs it. If he's falling asleep standing up, this man is tired. Like, I don't want to awake him from his slumber. But also,
I would start thinking, like, what if he fell over or something?
Exactly. I'm like, what if he fell over? So what would you have done?
What positioning? You're on your belly, right?
On my belly. Or I'm
You're
face down. I'm face down. Yeah.
And your arms are where? At your sides?
At my sides. So I'm like, I'm tucked.
I would cough really loudly and jolt my back to try to be like, to like shake him, and loud noise and a little like physical stimulation to try to wake him up.
Okay. I did a little shimmy. It worked and I felt better. But I was nervous that if I moved too much, that like, what if he fell? I also don't want to embarrass him.
Sure.
Like I'm waking you up and I'm aware. So then I did a little shimmy, and then he kind of and like sat back up and immediately started going again, like nothing had happened. But then I felt bad because I didn't want him to be embarrassed. So then I pretended like I was sleeping.
Yeah.
So then I was like,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
and like breathing, sleeping-ish. Yeah. It was a weird experience, but it was also beautiful because of what his passion,
That is so interesting.
It really, when he walked out, I was just like, this is going to be interesting. This is a new experience for me. So yeah, he fell asleep. Straight up fell asleep. God bless him. And I give him all of the recs in the world. A lot of recommendations.
Shouts out.
Shouts out to Christopher. He was fantastic.
Now, I just don't even know how to like acknowledge that and move forward because it's just
I'm so sorry. Yeah,
it's so absolutely crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
Good for him though.
I know,
That's
right?
what he wants to be doing.
That's
and
what he
all
wants
that.
to be doing. I was like, I hope that when I'm in my 80s, that first of all, being on your feet all day and like having to like use, I mean, you got to be. I asked him, I was like, Christopher, like, are you, because he was like, oh, I do this. I've been doing this for forever. And I'm like, so you're just like going all day. He's like, yeah, try to stay active. I'm like, what do you do? He plays tennis.
Wow.
He loves tennis.
Now, I'm going to send you David Sedaris' masterclass because one of the chapters on it, he's like, I never ask people small talk questions. He goes, I just ask a question that comes to mind. Like he said, he'll ask his chauffeur, like randomly, we'll be like, have you ever donated an organ? And he'll just ask questions like that. And he said he's always shocked at the answers that he'll get from people when he just asks them extremely random questions.
That is truly wild.
I know.
I don't know how.
And he said he said that he'll, like, let's say he's getting a pedicure and be like, and then he'll ask someone like, how many people come in drunk here to get their nails done? And he says he's always gets the most interesting stories that way.
That's brilliant.
Right?
Yeah, because first of all, if someone asks me a question like that,
yes,
I'll never forget you.
Right.
I'll be like, oh,
right.
How many people came in drunk? You know what's funny?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you're like fully tuned in. And then also, like, to have the capacity to, you know what that feels like? It feels like you care.
Right.
Like it feels kind of weird.
So he'll literally
but
just
it also feels like you care.
Yes, he's like, when I go through the checkout line, I'm not on the phone or texting or I don't ask them how their day is going. You know, I'll ask them, do you have any friends that you secretly hate?
Wow.
It takes a lot of balls.
It does take a lot of courage.
I was in a situation today where I thought about asking someone a question like at the hair salon and I just couldn't. And I couldn't bring, there would have been like 5 other people nearby that would have listened in. Maybe I would have gotten great stories from all of them, but I just goes too shy. So I'm just going to keep thinking about it till the right opportunity.
You think I'm going to keep thinking about it for forever.
We're going to a comedy club tonight. So
yes, we are. You could bring it up to a random person when we're on the patio.
The thing about
throw it out there.
It's a good idea.
It is so brilliant though. When you are to use that tactic when you are in an uncomfortable situation. Because granted, I would, if I'm being fully real, doing that out of the blue would make me feel a little uncomfortable and a little weird. But if I'm already in an uncomfortable, like there's not like with my celebrity, not friend, but my celebrity kind of friend, where there was no conversation, nothing was happening, what do I have to lose? I could have just tried to think of like a really weird random question and just thrown it out there.
Yes.
And maybe the person would have been like, oh, that's weird. But we probably would have had a conversation at least.
What's the most annoying thing about your mom? You know? Like imagine someone just asked you that. I mean, I know if someone asked me any of those questions, I would be like,
love it.
I would too.
I would love it.
Right.
Like, wow. If someone asked me that, I would just be like, you are so interesting. And I am so excited that I get to think about that right now.
There's also places like in an Uber where that person drives people around, has stupid conversations all day, or even like a cashier. If someone asks you a question, that just made your day more interesting for a second, right?
Totally.
Or you thought it was weird, but it still makes it more interesting.
You love a chatty Uber drive.
Right. No, I haven't done it in a long time. Maybe it's the masks. Just sit and I'm just like, just sit on my phone. But yeah.
That's so interesting.
Think of a good question you could ask an Uber driver.
I
do ask people like, how many times have people like thrown up in your Uber? But even that's almost small talk with an Uber driver.
Yeah, you know, I'm not good at coming up with random things. Like my brain immediately goes to like Uber related things, but like maybe I could just ask him something different. Like, do you ever lucid dream?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Does that sound weird? See,
no.
Thinking about it, I'm like,
and then you can even make a backstory to your question. You'd be like, I've just been wondering because I've been trying to lucid dream lately.
Yeah, like I have had really vivid dreams, but I don't feel like I can control them at all. Like, are you able to control your dreams?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen God?
Have you ever talked to one of your dead relatives?
That's a good one. Sometimes the spooky ones, people might be a little bit like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, do you also have ghosts in your house?
No, but he'll ask very specific questions. Sometimes like, have you ever donated an organ? It's incredibly specific.
That is unbelievably specific. That's like, have you ever, broken the 3rd toe from the second? You're like, what?
Right. Yeah.
Have you ever twisted your ankle in a soccer match? You're just like, what?
Were you ever like a meth dealer? That person would be like, excuse me?
Excuse me?
Imagine asking someone that. No, don't do that one.
Yeah, don't. Probably wouldn't recommend that one just randomly to people you don't know. But
I know what he asked. He asked a taxi driver. He asked them, have you ever ran for office? This is when he asked the taxi driver. And the taxi driver said, 12 years ago, I ran for mayor. Like in the city I'm from. Funny you should ask.
Whoa.
And he says he's always surprised sometimes that when he asks extremely specific questions that pop into his head, it's like a gut instinct thing. And that person will be like, it's so strange you asked that.
Do you think he's a little psychic?
I think we all are.
You're right.
If we really lean into it. You might think of a weird question and be like, I'm not going to ask that person if they've ran for office.
That's true, huh?
I'm not going to ask them if they donated an organ. What the hell? But they probably have. That's probably why you're thinking of it. Maybe not.
Okay, I'm gonna do that at least once this week.
Okay, let's each try to do it. Let's each try to do it tonight once.
All right,
comedy store.
Okay. all right.
Those people who are into comedy are into a conversation.
Yes, they are.
It has to be with someone we don't know.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
We can't do it with someone that we know. That's definitely cheating.
Yeah.
That's definitely cheating.
Anyway, I thought that was interesting. It made me think of what you're doing.
Yeah, I really like that a lot. And I think that adds a really exciting dynamic to conversation. But
an interaction with any person.
Yeah, like on both ends. Like your life's going to be more exciting because you're finding out all these interesting
Can't wait to tell you guys on the podcast.
No, for real though. And then their life's going to be a little more interesting because someone asked them kind of a strange, random, maybe intimate question. And even like something specifically, like you said, like, what does your mom do that annoys you? I'm like, I feel like that would maybe create some relief for someone to tell an absolute stranger, like get it off their chest.
Yeah.
Like just that would be helpful for me.
Yeah.
Like, what's the most recent argument you've had with your partner?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden be like talking to a stranger. I'm like, oh God, you know what? I actually haven't really talked about it. And well, we were talking about this, and kind of get it off your chest a little bit.
Or even like the dumb ones we asked in the podcast, what's the worst Christmas gift you've ever gotten?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, also it's so much better than how are you? Oh, I hate when people ask that.
Well, okay, the question, so you're saying start off with this. He says hello, and then that's the next thing he says.
Like I imagine him, in what I know about him, like kind of standing there and being like, like hello, and then just being like how often does someone, how often has someone thrown up in line at this grocery store? Like, has that ever happened to you? Like, I imagine that he really does kind of do it cold turkey.
Wow. Okay. It's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a lot for me. I'll be real with you because my temptation is wanting to be like, let me craft a way to get here so it doesn't feel as out of left field.
I feel like he does it pretty out of left field. Now, I'm not saying you have to really just lead with that.
Well, but that's what we said we were going to do.
No, I have to do it too. But I mean, you could always say this. Look, there's no rule that you can't say. This isn't like a dare. I mean, you could be like, do you have anyone's name tattooed on your body? That's such a good one.
I'm using that one tonight. Great one. Damn it. Okay, now I got to think of a really good one.
But I'm going to use it on someone's that I don't see tattoos on them. That's going to be my caveat to myself.
And you know what's cool is you'll probably find out that the person has one hidden tattoo.
That would be cool. But you could get a disclaimer.
You're like, Jessica, we need to leave. You could say, because they got really weird.
You're like, it's Rebecca. Here.
Surprise, it's on my belly.
That's immediately what I thought too.
Why is it the belly?
Because it's weird.
It is a very, that's
like even weirder than the butt
I would rather
like
someone whip their ass or like their like genitalia out and be like, it says Jessica. But like if they lift their shirt up and are like, it's on their belly.
You're like, Christine. Yeah, you're like, okay.
It's
Roger. Yeah, weird. But you could also say, I'm just trying to ask people more like interesting, direct questions instead of making small talk. There's no reason why you couldn't say that.
That's true. Be like, honest. Listen, life is boring. We've all been stuck in our houses. Like,
I'm trying to find interesting stories from people.
Yeah.
Come up with one for me.
Think of a question for me immediately.
Good, better be good. Not good enough.
Stop being so selfish and ask me something interesting.
Be curious about my life. And you just don't blink. You're just staring at them.
You're like, this is... All right, I'll do it tonight.
Imagine being at the park. Oh God, there's so many scenarios that make me... Tonight's going to be like one of the easiest scenarios we'll be in this week.
Yeah, that's true. Just like look at someone and just be like...
You're like sipping coffee.
Have you ever had your life flash before your eyes? I did this afternoon.
You're pushing your kids on the swing. You're just like, have you ever helped someone bury a body? Like, okay, honey, we're going over to this side.
I mean, you could ask a question like, would you bury a body for a friend?
Now, that was my segue. My story from the park that I didn't get to tell last week.
Yes, please.
I'm crafting this. I'm weaving this road. Oh my God,
look at this pathway that you're taking us on.
I'm weaving this road.
An actual novel.
Okay, so...
Chapter 5, go ahead.
That afternoon, I had a headache. So...
We're not at our best when we have those.
No.
Okay.
I had a headache. I had something wrong with me. I was anxious, whatever. So I decided to take some CBD. Not from one of our sponsors, mind you.
A mistake.
So I take some CBD. Yeah, a mistake. It should have been feels.
A detrimental mistake.
I literally actually couldn't find the feels in my cabinet. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
So I take some of the CBD. And also me with CBD, I'm like 3 pumps, whatever. This fucking shit. I don't even know if it, what if it's going to do anything. It definitely does. So then my sister actually was on the phone. She's like, you should take some CBD. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It was the strangest thing. It's about 2.5. Oh, this is actually, now that I'm thinking about it, so nice. So it's later in the afternoon. I take the kids to the park. There's a lot of people there because it's like probably around 4 or so. People are out of school. There's this, I don't know how old he was. Probably an older teenager or in his 20s. And he obviously he had some sort of disability, but he was there the whole time for like an hour, swinging on a swing, and he had a soda can in his hand, like a root beer. And next to him, he had 3 empty cans where it was like a Dr. Pepper, like a Fanta. Oh
my God, a man of variety. This is my type of guy. I'm like,
it was killing me because you knew he'd just been sitting on the swing for probably hours at that point, going through like 4 sodas.
It's like, this is a taste test, bitch.
But he's just listening to music with his headphones on, smiling, and then it was like a soda commercial, because then there's an empty swing next to him, and then the other swing there was this older lady with white hair and bare feet, and she was swinging on the swing, and so I could just cry thinking about it. So then I was pushing Ruth, and she was, and then he said something, and I said, oh yeah, something back to him. And she goes, he was who inspired me. I thought, doesn't matter how old they are, can get on a swing and like enjoy a swing. And, so we're all just like,
oh, that's beautiful.
It was a really beautiful moment.
It's like, I can literally feel the sun hitting the back of my neck right now.
And she's smiling, watching him who inspired her to just get on the swing. And, she's by herself at the park, and she's probably in her 70s, and she's just barefoot swinging and watching my kids, and we're all just smiling at each other. And I'm just like, wow. And then all of a sudden it hits me. I think I'm fucking high right now.
Oh no.
All of a sudden it hits me.
Like, oh God, no.
And this is the thing. When I get too high, I panic. And in that moment, anything other than not high was too high, because I wasn't planning on being high.
No, you were just planning on taking the kids to the park.
So I'm sitting there, we're having our moment, I'm pushing them, like, he's like, I see skies of blue, clouds of white, and I think to myself, and then it was like, and I'm like, why the fuck am I high right now? So all of a sudden I'm like looking around, and I'm kind of like panicking, because I'm like, my depth perception is off. Am I dizzy? Am I high? Is something wrong with my head? I'm gonna pass out, and all of a sudden I'm out of the moment. I'm like, and I realize how I was hyper focusing on things, and then I'm like thinking of like,
it's just a hell all of a sudden. It goes to this beautiful like beautiful photo, like the wonderful world, and then just all the bushes are like converted into flames.
All of a sudden the sand pit is like quicksand. I'm like slogging my feet through it, My kid who was just on the swing is like, Mommy, now. They're like,
it's just like red eyes and fangs.
So I'm panicking, I'm like, my anxiety comes up where I'm like, what did I eat or drink that was drugged? And then I remember the CBD. So then I'm doing the math. I only took like 60 milligrams of CBD, which does translate though to like when I was. So then I'm Googling, can CBD get you high? And they're like, no. But then, of course, what people are asking is, no, CBD can't get you high. But if it's full spectrum CBD, it has THC in it.
Yes.
0.03%.
So you got to check if there's any THC
or you just have to make sure how much you're taking. Because then if you take 75 milligrams from the bottle, that means that you're going to have about 1.5 milligrams of THC, which could give you a bit of a high, especially if your tolerance is low, which I haven't been smoking weed at all lately. So
your tolerance is low.
Yeah. So I'm, I can sense that I'm high. So I'm calling Grace, and I'm like, where are you right now? You need to come relieve me of the kids. I was like, I feel like I'm high. And there's other parents around, who are probably like listening out of the corner of the ear, like, what the hell? I'm like, I swear to God,
you're just like, it's nothing. It's nothing. Look away.
I'm like this, like watching Frank on the slide. I'm like, I just swear to God, I just swear to God, I feel high right now. And he's like, well, can you drive? I'm like, well, I don't want to. Like, I don't know if I can get out of the park right now. I don't know if I can find my way back to my car, And so anyway, he's like, I'll come in 20 minutes. I knew I was high when I glanced over and there was this family with a dog and they all had masks on.
The dog became a demon.
Then the dog became a demon and I saw it eating the baby in front of me. No, the family was all wearing masks and I looked real quick and my first thought was, why isn't the dog wearing a mask? And in that moment, I knew that I was too far gone. And then I was scared, I was like, why did I just think that golden retriever should be wearing a mask? Like, I'm so fucking high from the CBD. What's happening?
Oh my God.
So
why isn't the dog wearing a mask?
So I actually thought that. I was just like, that was my first thought.
I got high the other day and my dog Boris was sitting next to me and I was like working on something on the computer. I was like, Boris, can you hand me my water? And I was like,
say that?
I literally said it out loud. I asked, I was like, can you hand me my water? And I'm like, whoa.
Wow.
This is a lot. But I was safe in my home at nighttime, cozy, alone. So there was no panic. There wasn't, and I also, an unexpected high is not a welcome high, in my opinion.
No.
It's not for me. It's not for me.
No, I did not sign up for that.
No.
So then, of course, Gray's like running late. And by then I'm just kind of calming down. And then I go and walk the kids into the back and put them in the back of the truck. And then I'm just kind of standing there while they're running. They love standing in the back of the truck and running back and forth from side to side.
Really
and
cute.
Screaming. So then he gets there and I'm like, hi. Well, you can drive the truck, I guess, because that's harder to drive, and I'll drive the Camry. The 3 blocks back to our house. So,
oh my gosh.
But it was weird. And then I felt like I was having to come down like 2 hours later. So now I only take that CBD before bedtime. But yeah,
I mean,
it was really an interesting journey.
Yeah, you really experienced the gamut of life. You you had a beautiful moment with your family and like the community around you, and you're like,
and all of a sudden they were melting as if I was on acid.
It was full of hellfire, and then you're just like, why aren't the animals in the area wearing masks as well?
Yeah, I know.
And then all of a sudden you just saw the United States of America burning and all the things.
Did you know there was a thing at one point where people were afraid that did you know if you touch acid like LSD, it will absorb into your skin?
Yes, I do.
So there was a panic at one point where people thought they were putting acid on crosswalk buttons.
That is horrifying.
Isn't that the biggest hellish
that
thing?
Type of shit really scares me. I have that type of shit.
I know it embeds in my brain forever. And then when I'm at the park and I start feeling high, then I think that I've touched acid on a crosswalk.
Yeah,
it wasn't. Yeah. No one is doing that. Don't worry, you guys.
No, but that type of shit sticks with me. Do you know I had one of my best friends growing up? Her parents were before they became very conservative Christians, were like big LSD folks, and like they were very deep in that movement, and her dad had a really bad LSD trip once, like a really bad one. And then he never did LSD again. But something, not a doctor or scientist over here, but something about LSD specifically can get like trapped in, like can remain in your body and be trapped
or whatever. And people can have flashbacks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so he will, if he cracks his back weird, all of a sudden have like a crazy LSD trip. This like super conservative like pastor guy. And he's like, it's horrifying every time. Because it's out of nowhere. All of a sudden he kind of moves and it like cracks. It doesn't happen often. Yes. It doesn't happen often. It's very rare. But like all of a sudden he'll do kind of like a weird shift. And so it gives him insane anxiety. Like if he's driving, he's like, what if I'm driving and all of a sudden I like twist my neck around and it like something tweaks it and I'm like fully having a major LSD trip while I'm driving.
I did hear a scare story in junior high, which actually doesn't sound that fake, where somebody had an LSD flashback and they thought like the steering wheel was melting and like they were driving.
I mean, I don't know. He told me it was real and he explained the situation.
Yeah.
It could have been a scare tactic to try to make sure that we didn't do drugs. But this guy was not like that.
Yeah.
He was very like,
no, I think it's a thing.
He would have just straight up been like, just don't do it.
Yeah.
But he was like very afraid of it. Very afraid of it.
I've heard stories, and this just gives me the most anxiety. I remember reading a story of somewhere where they like, I can't remember. They were holding like a sheet of acid like loosely in their hand, But then they were in the back of the car and then they like fell asleep. And when they fell asleep, it was like in their hand and from the heat from their palm, like they absorbed like a lot of hits of acid. And so then they woke up from the nap tripping.
That's horrifying.
And like, I remember them saying like seeing goldfish on the ceiling of the car and stuff like that.
Nope. I just hit that weed too hard and I was having those delusions and
I know,
that was enough for me.
I know, but we could be really intense.
Yeah.
We can be really intense. I remember someone saying they're like, I've done every drug and I've had some of the most craziest experience just high on marijuana.
Yeah.
It could be intense.
Yeah. I mean, now weed and I are friends.
Now we're cool.
Now we're friends because I do like a puff or two.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I'm like, that's it.
If I hit a joint or something, I'm like,
yeah, no.
I'm good. And if I need more, I'll take more. You can't undo a high.
No need for me to smoke like a damn whole cigarette this time. No. It's
unless you're smoking those CBD joints.
Ooh.
Not feeling anything. But you could feel something. Hey.
Me with my little joints. I was just like, oh, it's so crazy that I'm not getting high with these. Cut to them being pure CBD. I'm just like, it's amazing. My back feels way better. It's wild. My headache's gone and my back feels way better, but like I don't feel high at all. This is just like a health thing for me. It's absolutely wild.
We better wrap so you can
Oh gosh. Edit. Oh my gosh, broads. We gotta go. We gotta go to the show. We gotta go to the comedy show. Holy smokes. Well,
I just looked.
Deepest apologies if this was I enjoyed chatting with you. If
this was great conversation.
I thought it was great. If it was a weird episode, sorry, guess what? We're both having migraines and I need to drink some more water.
It made me forget my headache. Or that could have been the Advil. But I feel better.
Yeah, we had a little bit of pain meds.
Yeah.
But remember to drink your water. Be careful to check the THC levels in your CBD.
In your water.
Don't judge someone who's older, who's, like living out their passion.
But don't be afraid to wake them up.
And do so gently.
And ask your cashier if they've ever murdered someone.
And that's that.
Chat soon,
brats.